Good evening and welcome to Guardians of Gaia, right here on Cape Town TV, Channel 263. My name is Megan Edwards, and tonight I walk you through the ins and outs of recycling and waste management in the Mother City and beyond. We see how very ordinary people and all types of earthlings are doing their bit to save the planet, each in their own way. Tonight we also get to look at the challenges of recycling in the country, such as a lack of facilities, and we highlight how there's actually profit in waste. Soon we'll have a look at the Department of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries and their latest ruling on plastic. In response to this, we see how eco-bricks and members of the community, such as waste pickers, are doing their part to save the planet by enforcing better recycling and waste management systems in the country. So don't forget to send through your comments and your questions on all our social media handles. This is Guardians of Gaia, and my name is Megan Edwards. Before we head into the show, let's have a look at this week's news feed. On the topic of waste management, we see how youths in Bishop Lavers are taking matters into their own hands and keeping their community clean. So if you're someone or you know someone in your community who's actively doing their part to fight climate change, or perhaps you wish there was someone who could come and tackle a very specific environmental issue in your community, then email us at gog@capetowntv.org.
So the program it's focused on youth, aimed for youth basically. So the age group is from 15 to 23 years old. It's a peer mentorship program. We focus on self-development, personal development, leadership, and various other skills as well. And there's also lots of opportunity for these youngsters as well. So we're trying to get the children off the streets, even if they are unemployed school dropouts, trying to get them in an institute or just somewhere. And also what I call myself as a purpose pusher. So I love working with these individuals and trying to find out really their heartbeat and where they do fit in, because it's all about fitting in and doing what you love to do at the end of the day. So yeah, so we've been in existence almost 2 years, and we have about 30 to 40 youth within Bishop Lavers. That's part of the program. We do meet every Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So yeah, I welcome all the youth to come and be part of this movement, this program. What inspired us as a group with this regarding the cleanup? It started about, I think, 2 to 3 weeks ago. I was driving in the area and I saw how filthy and dirty this Olyfberg Road, how dirty it is. But prior to that, we have discussed that we would like to do a clean up. And on that note, I immediately went to the councillor and I told her, wait, we have to do something here. So yes, we started out and she was all excited because she said they also plan to do it. So I said, okay, let's merge and let's just get this thing going and get the youth, all worked up then, because they were so excited to be part of this program, really.
As we get into recycling and waste management tonight, we explore if South Africa's recycling systems are in fact working and how waste is managed locally and beyond. Just a while ago, the South African Department of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries released their final amendments in which recycling schemes were prioritised despite their poor track record in dealing with plastic pollution. Tonight, we speak with Angelo Louw, Digital Mobilisation Officer at Greenpeace. He gives us some insight into how our laws are possibly being manipulated to serve corporate interests. Before we chat to him, though, let's have a look at who exactly has the whole world in their hands.
They got the fracking and the cracking in your hands. They got the shunting and the dumping in our lands. They got the itty bitty pieces in our scans. They got the whole world in their hands. We got the whole world in our 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 hands.
And I don't know how many more times we need to say to the government that this is not going to work.
Though South Africans have been paying for plastic bags since 2004, this hasn't decreased our plastic consumption very much. In fact, other African countries are far more progressive than South Africa is regarding plastic use. We've seen 16 African countries ban the plastic bag, and not one of them is South Africa.
Well, I would describe it as abusive. I think that's probably the best term to describe it because it's very exploitative. We're not recycling plastic, we're downcycling plastic, which means that there's always going to be a need for plastic, and plastic industry is going to continue to produce more and more plastic. We call this greenwashing. The industry is greenwashing. They're making it seem like something that's eco-friendly and environmental, but actually they're just pushing their agenda, and they are co-opting our governments into it. So we've developed this sort of culture where everything is conveniently packed for us, where you'll find now that your fruits and vegetables are chopped up and pre-chopped up, and you can go into Woolworths and there's plastic packaging upon plastic packaging, and it's something that we're so used to seeing. And so it's sort of industry driven. I don't know if you've ever been in the situation where you go to the shopping center, or you go to a supermarket and the teller will ask you, do you want the plastic? And if you say no, they look at you like you're crazy, because there's this assumption that you're being too cheap to buy the convenience of that plastic. I think that that's something that we really need to change. We need to get out of that mindset. That's that single-use consumerist mindset that we need to break free from. And lots of countries across the African continent, they've already done this. They've started with the bags specifically. There are about 35 plastic bans, most of them being bans of single-use plastic bags. And in the space of a year, 2 years, they've already found those alternative reuse models. And so it's not impossible. It's just we really need to take that step as a country. The regulations have been passed and approved and adopted, and what it's looking like is there's a very heavy slant toward recycling schemes and upscaling recycling schemes and improving recycling schemes. And if you look at this recycling statistics, both globally and locally, you'll understand that recycling is not a sustainable solution. If it was, there wouldn't be as much plastic as there is in the environment right now, right? Only 9% of all the plastic that's ever been produced has been recycled, and locally, I think the statistic is that 17% of plastic gets recycled in South Africa. So that leaves 80% of that plastic in our environment. Um, and coming back to the regulations itself, sustainable solutions such as reuse models, refill models, they were only mentioned 2 times, and this is a 28-page document. And I don't know how many more times we need to say to the government that this is not going to work. Okay, so in terms of what is an optimal business model is definitely those reuse and refill systems, and so we have examples of it. For decades, Coca-Cola, for instance, has been running the sort of refill model in our townships, and it's sort of become part of our culture in townships. And now, because of regulations like these that favor recycling, you find that Coca-Cola is now prioritizing their plastic bottling so that they can actually meet those recycling targets, right? So this is a little bit destructive when we see these regulations favor something that's unsustainable. Man, it's the saddest situation because it's sort of it's people of color essentially, because the United Nations, they just released a report looking at the environmental injustice impact of plastic pollution across the world, and they find that it's underprivileged communities that bear the brunt of the plastic crisis, and more so it's people of color in these communities that make up these communities. And so it's people like us. um, there's so much wildlife consuming plastic that's been disposed of in the environment that we actually eat about a credit card of plastic every single week. If we are going to be focusing so much on industrialization and on the growth of our economy, and someday, because of our neglect of the environment, what future will we have?
Government has a serious role to play in the fight for the earth and has a very direct impact on our impact on the earth. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, we have a look at solutions to the recycling limitations in the country.